Okay, this is, well, hopefully the last video of Strands of Sudoku. It might be the second to last. We are pretty far actually into it. We've got only 2 rooms left. We've solved most of the side quests, I think. Anyways, let's get to the Hall of Illusions, I believe it was called, right? The Hall of Illusions. The opulence of this grand hall is out of place when compared to areas you've already visited. Your greatest desires could be just behind any corner. Anyways, let's look at the rules here for the Halls of Illusion, as portrayed by wrong clues. Clues contained entirely inside the Hall of Illusions grid are wrong and indicate the opposite of their normal rules. Digits on wrong thermometers increase as they get closer to the bulb, instead of going from the bulb to the tip. Digits on wrong whisper lines must differ from adjacent digits by less than 5, so it's the opposite of German whisper. A digit in a wrong dark cell must be greater than all orthogonally adjacent non-dark cells. So that's the same thing as the shadow we had, but opposite. It's basically must be greater than, so that's maximal cells. And wrong black dots, arrows, and indexing clues must not portray the relationship in their respective rules. So the black dots cannot be in a 1-to-2 ratio. The arrows, the digits on an arrow must not sum up to the digit that's in the arrow. And I don't know about the skyscrapers. Does the skyscraper still work? It doesn't say. Okay. So it must be less, so this cannot be 1, either one of these. This is not 2, and it gets smaller, so this has to be a 1. We know this is a 1. These indexes. Okay, so far nothing about the skyscrapers though. The skyscrapers, I guess, are correct because it doesn't say anything that's incorrect about those. These digits are not the same as this. This digit is not the same as these two. This must be 3 through 9. This is 3 through 9 also, so it has to be 4, 5, 6. This is 4 through 9. These are 4 through 9 in general. This does not index the correct digit. So wherever 4 is, it can, so this can never be 4. This is 1. So these digits are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 9. And it gets larger to the bulb. So this cannot be 1, this cannot be 9 here. It still satisfies everything there. Okay, I'm assuming skyscrapers are correct, so this can't be 8 or 9. This can't be 9. Because the are scrypeepers, whatever. But the scrypeepers are essentially outside of the Hall of Illusions. This is not in a 1-to-2 ratio, so it cannot be 2 or 8. So this is 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9. It cannot be 6 because of the 6 in the column. These two digits are not the same as this one. So this is 1, 2, 3. Could be a lot. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Cannot be 1. Or it could be 1. Yeah, yeah. Scribe peepers here. This could be up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. This could be up to 7 here. This could be up to 8. This is just not 1. So 2, 3, 4. No 5, no 6, 7, 8, 9. This is also not 1. 2, 3, no 4. It could be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Digits on a wrong whisper line must differ from adjacent digits by less than 5. Oh, dark cells must be greater than... So these must be greater than all adjacent... non-dark cells, right? So it must be greater than... So this is not 1. This is not 1 either. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. So 9 cannot be here or here and here. So 9 does have to be one of these 3. Because it cannot be here. The 9 has to be one of these 2. Which means 9 cannot be either of these. Therefore, 9 must be here. This cannot be 9 because it cannot be the same as this digit. This then cannot be 4 because it must see all 3 of these digits on the scribe peeper. All of these are greater than at least one other digit, as seen by the fog. So none of them can be 1. Therefore, this is the 1. So this cannot be 1 here. 1 cannot be here either. So 9 is one of these 2. 1 is one of these 4. We need a 2 on the outside. This can never be 1 here. We have 2 through 9 here. These cannot be 6 here. 1 could be there too. This is greater than 2 orthogonally adjacent digits, but they could be the same one, so that doesn't help. This cannot be low, so it's 5 through 8, right? Because of the German whisper, the wrong German whisper rule. So it cannot be 4 here. Let's see. We have a 1 here and a 1 here. We have a 1 here. Okay, so this cannot be 1 here. Cannot be 1 here. So 1 is one of these. Okay, 1 can never be on the bulb of a wrong thermometer. So this is 8 at most. So this is 7. So 1 is one of these two, right? Do we have anything with coins? We have 4 and 8. Probably not. Do we have 4 coins would be the question, right? I don't know. I don't think we do, actually. We have 8. We have 8. Okay, let's check. Oh boy. I'm sorry about the fan noises. I don't know why it's collecting those. Usually my mic doesn't pick up the fan noises, but for some reason it's picking them up quite loudly. Um, hmm. Um, okay. It's not picking them up anymore. Okay, that seems fine. We have a 7 on a coin, a 9 on a coin, a 6 on the coin in grid 1. Grid 2, we have a 5, an 8, a 9. Grid 3, we have a 4, a 9, and an 8. Grid 4, we have a 6, an 8, and a 9. That's grid 5. This is grid 4. Looks like we don't have a differentiator yet. Yeah, I think the coins are gonna be somewhere else. Okay. Anyways, let's continue on with this. What else do we have? This cannot be 6 over here because of this 6. This can't be 9 because of the 9 over here. And this can't be 6. So 6 cannot be here. 6 is one of these two. This digit must be greater than this, but it's not the same as these digits. Why can't... Oh, because of the scribe peeper, right? Can't be 9 here. So 9 cannot be here. 9 is one of these 3 digits. 6 cannot be here. All 3 of these are greater than 3 of these. But that doesn't really tell us much. This cannot be a 1. So this can't be 2, right? Because this has to be greater than this one instead of less than this one. This is at... Okay, so this is... These two are less than this. So this is 8 at most, but it's 2. This one's greater than this one, so this has to be 7 at most. This is 2 through 7 here. This is 3 through 9. If this were 8 and this were 9, okay, if this were 8, this has to be 9. But then this would be 2, 3, or 4 because it cannot be 5, 6, and 7. And that would be 5 away from the German whisper line. Therefore, this cannot be 8. Or the wrong German whisper line, right? This is 5, 6, and 7. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. This is still greater than this, so this cannot be 8. This is 5, 6, or 7. Since this is 5, 6, or 7, this must be greater than that, so it has to be 6 or 8 here, which is greater than 5, 6, or 7. None of these can be 1. Okay, this is greater than this, so it cannot be 2. So none of these can be 2. So 2 has to be on one of the corners in box 5. Six or 8. This is 6 or 8, which must be greater than this cell. So this cannot be 8. This can't be 8. So 8 is either here, here, or here. If this were 2, the problem with this being 2, okay, this cannot be 2 because this is greater than this. So this is 3 or more. So 2's either here or here in box 5. This is greater than 5, 6, or 7, so therefore it cannot be 2. This is greater than... This cannot be 2 because it's a wrong thermo cell. So 2 is either here or here, which means we have a 1 either here or here. We're not sure. And then we have a 1 either here or here, right? Either this is 2, which forces both of these to be 1, or this is 2, which forces both of these to be 1. Either way, we know there's a 1 here. We know there's a 1 here. So there cannot be a 1 in the rest of column 6 or the rest of column 7. So these cannot be 1 here. If this were 2 or 3, the problem is where is the 8 and 9 in box 4? It would have to both be here, and therefore these would be greater than 5 away from 8 or 9 if this was 2 and 3. Oops. So this cannot be 2 or 3. This is specifically 4 or 8. Therefore, this is greater than it. It has to be at least 5. So this is 4 or 8. Why couldn't this be 8? Is kind of the question, right? Yeah, why can't this be 8? I don't get it. Yeah, maybe that's... Okay, where did I remove that is the question. I removed that 8. That's fine. Why did I remove that 8? I don't know. Okay. So that logic didn't make sense. Okay, well. This can no longer be 2. Don't know what's going on here. This is still similar. One of these is 1. One of these is 1. So none of these can be 1. Cannot be 1. 8 could be here, right? Four has to be, okay, 8 cannot be any of these cells. Oh, that's helpful because of the 2-8 pair, right? 4 cannot be here. 4 has to be one of these 2 digits. This cannot be 7 then. Why couldn't this be 8? I don't know. My logic there was not great. I don't know what was going on there. This can't be 5 because of this 5. Hmm. Again, if this were 2, that would have to be 1. And so therefore 2 cannot be any of the middle cells. It has to be corner. And this can't be 2 because it has to be next to a 5, 6, or 7. And it's greater than it. This is greater. These cannot be 1 because these are thermobulbs, but with the wrong rule set. So either this is 2, which means this can't be 2, or this is 2, which means that can't be 2. But we still don't really have any other information. You cannot have a 9 anywhere here, here. Well, obviously, because this is a 9. But you can't have a 9 here, or here, or here, or here. Oh, one of these is 9. So none of these are 9 here. None of these are 9 here because they would be greater than a dark cell. So one of these 2 has to be a 9. So this cannot be a 9 here. One of these 3 is a 9 here. This is not in a 1-to-2 ratio. 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. Where's the 8? If this were a 3, this would have to be a 2. Well, that's possible because then this could be 2, right? One cannot be here. One cannot be here. One can't be here. So in box 2, 1 is one of those 3, but it can't be here because one of these has to be a 1. 1 cannot be here. 1 can't be any of these, so 1 has to be one of these 3 in box 8. Okay. 1 is one of these 2. Hmm. Uh, hmm. Hmm. Okay, none of these 3 can be 9, none of these 3 can be 9, and this can't be 9. Therefore, in column 7 of grid 8, 9 has to be there. Right, because these are all smaller than these. 9 has to be one of those. Hmm. Okay. So 9 has to be one of these 2. That's interesting. This is likely the German whisper line here, which is, again, the wrong clue. These could be 1. Okay, so this 7 cannot be here. Why can't 7 be here? 7 should be able to be here. It just has to be greater than that. Okay, I don't know why the 7 was removed there. This cannot be 6 here, though. Um, what does that tell us? I don't know. Man, these wrong clues actually are pretty hard. To limit things. You know that's 6 or 8. Has to be greater than 5, 6, 7. Has to be greater than 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Ah, the indexing. Wait, this says that 5. Wait, the indexing is correct here then. That's. Wait. That's problematic. The 1 does have to be in the center, right? The 1 cannot be on the outside, but the problem is we have a 5 here. Oh, God. Do I have to figure out how I messed this up, too? Oh, this is not a book. This is not a book. Okay, okay. Oh, man. I was wondering if I messed that up. This is not a book. Okay. Right, these are all books. So these two are fine then because the 1 is not the 5. This is not a book. Neither of this could be 1. Okay, this can never be 9 here because that indexes the 6. These cannot be 6 because they would index themselves. So where is the 6 in box 5? It has to be one of those 3 cells. If the 6 is here, that's fine because 5 is never in the 6th column. If the 6 is here, that would mean 4. Okay. So this can never be 9. No, this can never be 9 because 6 can never be in the that can't index it correctly. So this cannot be 2. This could be 2. Here is 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. It cannot be 6 or 9. So this could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, no, 7. It could be, no, it can't self-index, so this is 8, 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. Alright, so those indexes cannot point. Hmm. Um, um, hmm. 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 Okay, so neither of these can be 5. So where is 5 in box 5? 5 has to be either here, here, or here, right? Because these would be self-indexing. So these can't be 4 because those would be self-indexing. Um, Hmm. These are 8 at most. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This cannot be 3 because of this 3 here. This can't be 6. That's not helpful. These are 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. But this can't be 9. This could be 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. No 6, no 2, no 1 or 5. Do we have any other information? I don't know. Interesting. If this is 1, that makes this a 4. This would have to be a 2. Sorry, we should start with the 2. If this is 2, that forces this to be 1, which makes that 4. Therefore, this is 3. This is 8. This would then have to be 9 if that were the case. So then these would all be 5, 6, and 7 here. Or 5, 7, and 8. No, hold up. Again, if this is 2, this is 1, 4, 3. This would be 5. So if this is 2, this is 1, 4. This would then be 3. This would be 8. This could be 6 or 9. This would be 8, so therefore this would have to be 9 here. We'd have 5 and 7 be here, but this would be 7 and this would be 5. That's possible. And this would then be 5. This would be 8. This would be 6 or 9. This could be a lot of things. This would be 1. So that would be fine. Okay, so if that's the case, so if this is 2, that forces this to be 1, this is 4, this is 3, this is 8, that makes this 9, which forces this to be 5. So if this is not 2, this has to be the 2, which forces that to be 5. So this cannot be 3, 4, 8, or 9. This is specifically 2 or 5. But if this is 2, that's fine, because then this would be 1, 1. So this is always greater than these two digits. So it cannot be 5, 6, 7, or 8. Therefore, this is 1, 2, or 4. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4. This can never be 9 here because it's next to a 1, 2, 3, or 4. This is always 5 at most. And This could be 4 here, which means this could be 8 or something along those lines. If this is 2, there's no same minimum here. We just know one of these is a 5. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. This is looking like it's going to be a second to last video, not the last video. Hmm. That means 6 cannot be in the second position or the 5th position, depending on which one this is. So again, if this is 2, this becomes 1, 4, 3. This is 8. Nine cannot be any of these. 9 cannot be here. This can't be 5, 6, 7, 8. If this were 8, this would be a low with a 9, so this can't be 8. That's why it's 2, 3, or 4. This can't be 5, 6, 7. It cannot be 9. It cannot be 1. So again, if you have 2, 1, 4, this would be 3, 8, 9, 7, and 5. So this would be 7, 5 here. This would be 5. Which would mean that 6 could not be here. 6 would have to be one of these two. You'd have 7 here, 5, 2, 9. Um, oh, that's interesting. If 9 is here, this would always have to be 8. So therefore this would be 9. If 9 is here, so if this is 9, 9 is here. If this is 9, obviously this could never be 9 then. Either way, this can never be 9. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at most, which means this is 7 at most. This can't be 1 though. This has to be greater than this, so this is 3 through 8. Cannot be 5, obviously. Can't reference itself. This can't be 7 either. It's 3, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, so 8 can never be here then. right? If this is not, the only two places that 9 can be in box 4 are these two, right? This is less than this digit. This, all three of these say 9, and obviously this can't be 9. If this is a 9, that forces this to be 8, because otherwise the German whisper line would not be wrong. So therefore that forces that to be 9, which means that can't be 9 in that scenario. If this is 9, this can't be 9. So this is always greater than that. You cannot have an 8 here, so where is the 8? The 8 has to be one of these three digits in row 3. If this were 3, this would be 2. Therefore, this could not be 2. Therefore, this would be 2. This would be 1 and 1, so this could not be 1. This would be 1, 2. You could not have an 8 here, because that would be 5 away from there. Therefore, this would be 4, if that were the case. You'd have 1, 2, and 4 here. This would have to be greater than that, and it could. Neither of these could be 2, so neither of these could be 3. This couldn't be 3 because that was 3. So 3 would have to be one of these 3 here. 3 could not be here because this cannot be... this would be 4. 3 could be here if that were 2. 3 could be here if neither of these are 1, but then the 2 would have to be one of these two then, if that were the case. Huh, interesting. Huh. Hmm. So 5 in row 4 must be one of these 3 cells. Hmm. Okay, not too helpful. Uh, hmm. Hmm. These are 1 through 7. Why can't this be 9? Oh, because 6 is in the ninth spot. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but this can't be 6 here. Hmm. Hmm. Can this ever be 5? If this were a 5, that would force this to be 5, which would force that to be 2. So no, this can never be 5 here. This could be a 5, though. Can this be 7 is kind of a question. If this is 7, that forces this to be 8, which means these are both 2, 3, 4. So this can't be 9. This would have to be a 9 here. So you'd have 7, 8 here. This would be a 2, 3, 4 triplet. This could not be 2. This would be 2. This would be 5. So far, that's okay. These would both be 1, so this could not be 1. This would have to be a 1. So 7, 8. This could not be 8 here. So since this, well, Interesting. What happens if this is 2? If this is 2, that means this is 2. I guess that's fine. If this is 1, that forces this to be 4. This can no longer be 2 then. Because the 1 cannot be there anymore. Oh, both of these cannot be 1. If both of these are 1, that eliminates 1 from both of these cells, and therefore that doesn't work. So this cannot be 2. Okay, there we go. So if that were 2, this forces both of these to be 1. One of these has to be a 1, and therefore these ones would eliminate 1s in both of these cells, and therefore they would both have to be 4. So that's not allowed. So this cannot be 1s. Therefore, this is the 2, with the 1 being here and here. Okay. This cell's greater than that, so this cannot be 2. This cell's greater than that. This is 1 and 1, therefore this cannot be 7 or 8, because it must be less than 5 difference between there. This can't be 6 or 7, and it cannot be 2 either of these places, because they cannot be the same. This 2 says the 6 cannot be in the second column. So this can't be 6. This is 4, 5 here, which means this cannot be 3. This cannot be 4. This is a 6-8 pair, which eliminates 6 and 8 from the rest of the row because it has to be greater than the 4 or 5. This cannot be 2, therefore one of these is a 2 here. If this were a 4, okay, so this cannot be 3. It has to be greater than that digit, which is not a 2. This is a 1, which means this cannot be 1, which means in this box, whereas the 1 cannot be this one, can't be here, it has to be here. So this is 1, this is 4, which means 4 cannot be in the rest of this row. 5 is one of these two digits. We're not sure which. Oh, the 6-8 pair eliminates 6 and 8 from the rest of the box. So this can't be 6 or 8. This can't be 6 or 8. No 8, no 8. This can't be 8. 6 is one of these two. 6 is one of these two. 5 has to be one of these two here. This cannot be 2 anymore here. So there is no 2 here. This becomes 3, 4, 5, and 9 as possibilities. 2, 3, 4. These are... so 5's either here or here. We're not sure which. This is 1, so this cannot be 1. Therefore, we know 1 has to be one of these two digits. This is 3, 4, 5. No 6, 7, or 9 here. This cannot be 5, though. So one of these two is a 5. This cannot be 6 anymore. Right, none of these could be 7. This can't be 9 because of that arrow. And this can't be 9 because of how we showed this 9. If this was 9, that forces this to be 8 because it can't be greater than 5 away. So therefore this is 9 because it has to be greater than it. If this is not 9, this is 9. So therefore that can't be 9 either way. This is a 6-8 pair. You know 5 is one of these two. 2 cannot be here. 3 if this is 3, 1 cannot be either of these. Actually, how many 1s do we have? So 1 has to be one of those two. 1 cannot be here. So 1 is one of these 3 here. And 1 has to be one of these 4. That doesn't tell us very much. 2 cannot be here, 2 cannot be here, 2 has to be one of these two. This cannot be 4, because if it's 4, we know it's in a ratio with 2 to 8, and this would not work. So let's see, what are the possibilities then? This is 2, no 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but this cannot be 4, because that would be in a 1 to 2 ratio with a 2 or an 8, guaranteed. This can't be 2. One of these is a 6. This digit could be the same as that digit. That would be fine. So it's guaranteed. Okay, well, that's not true. It could be 2 and 3 here, technically. Hmm. Okay, this is greater than this, and this cannot be 8, and it cannot be 9. Why can't it be 9? I don't remember. Because the 6 is in the 9 spot. So this is greater than this digit. So this cannot be 3, and this cannot be 7. So this is 3, 5, or 6. 3 has to be one of these 3. If the 3 is here, this is 2. If the 3 is here, both of these are 2. If this is 3, this is 2. So we know this just can't be 2. That's all we know. Because one of these 4 must be a 2. But if this is 3, this could be 2, and there is no guarantee there's a 2 in the rest of this row. If this is 3, both of these are 2. If this is 3, this would have to be 2. But there's no guarantee that there's a 2 in the rest of this column. Okay, so this can be 2, 3, no 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're guaranteed to see the 9, so that's one digit. We see either this one, or we see both of these, or we see all 3 of these. 8 cannot be any of these, because the 8 in row 3 has to be one of these 3. Oh, this can't be 2. Okay, this can't be 2, this can't be 2. If this were a 4 also, if this were 4, that would guarantee that this is 2 and this is 8, and therefore this would be a 1 to 2 ratio. So 4 cannot be here either. This can't be 6 because of this 6. This can't be 4 because of that 4. Where is the 4 in row 3? It has to be here. So this is 4. Interesting. This cannot be 4, again, because of the 4 in the column. Huh. If this is 3, that forces this to be 4. This is 2. Therefore, this would have to be 8, and those would have a difference of 5 or greater. So this can never be 3. So 2 cannot be here either. That means 2 in column 7 must be here, or these 2. We're not sure which. If this is 5, this has to be a 3. Where's the 4, actually? That's a good question. How do we know this can't be, oh, because it can't index itself. So 4 has to be one of these 3 cells. Interesting. If this is 4, it could be next to a 2. Okay, interesting. If this is 3, this must be 2, which means this is a 3-4 pair, which eliminates 3, 4, and 2 from this cell. So this is 8, and therefore this is 9. If this is 3, this is 2 and 2. Therefore, this is 3, 4. This would have to be a 6 then. Right? Can this ever be 5 is kind of the question, right? If this is 5, oh, this has to be smaller than this digit, right? Right, okay. This digit is always greater than that, so this can't be 7. Remember, we eliminated 8 from the 6-8 pair. The 9 cannot be the 9 because of the indexing, so this is 7 at most. This cannot be 5, can't be 6, can't be 7, 8, or 9 because it's smaller than this cell. So this is 2, 3, or 4. But can we ever have... So this is 2, 3, or 4. That means we can have at most one digit that's 2, 3, or 4 here, right? Sorry, yes, that's 2, 3, or 4 here, right? Because we have 1 here, we have 1 here. That means, can both of these be 3 and 4 is the question. And the answer is no. If this is 3, that forces this to be 2. If this is 4, that would force that to be 3, but we already have a 3 in the row. So one of 3 or 4 has to be in one of these 3 cells because it can't, in for box 5, because it can't be any of these. Therefore, one of these is 3 or 4. Therefore, if this is 3, obviously the rest of the row cannot be 3. If this is 4, that forces this to be 3, which means the rest of the row cannot be 3. So we cannot have a 3 anywhere else in the rest of the row. So if this is 4, this is 3, this is 2. If this is 3, this is 2, this is 4. Either way, we have 2, 3, 4 triplets. Either this is 4, 3, 2, or this is 3, 2, and that's 4. So this, okay, so this can never be 4, because if this were 4, then this would be 3 and 2, guaranteed, because we can only have 1 out of 2, 3, 4 here. We also know there must be 1 out of 3, 4, so this cannot be 2. We have 1 from 2, 3, 4, 1 from 2, 3, 4, 1 from 3 or 4. Therefore, this cannot be 2, 3, or 4. Therefore, this is 8, which means this cannot be 8. This cannot be 8. This 8 forces this to be a 9. We have an 8 here. This then cannot be 9, and none of these can be 9. So this can't be 8 or 7. It has to be less than this digit. This is then a 5. And it must be greater than this, which is a 3. This can't be 3 anymore. There's no 3 in these cells. This can't be 3. This has to be a 3 or 4 here, which forces this to be a 7 here. So this cannot be 7. It cannot be 2 or 4. We have a 3, 2, 3, 4 triplet in box 6, which eliminates 3 and 4 in the rest of the box. Therefore, these can't be 3 or 4. This has to be a 5, 9 pair, which eliminates 5 and 9 in the rest of the row. This can't be 9. Where is the 9 in box 4? It must be here. This is a 3, 4 pair, which eliminates 3, 4 in the rest of box 4. So this can't be 3 or 4. This is 2. This can't be 2, 4. It must be 6, which means this can't be the same. This is 8, which makes that a 6. This is a 6, so this cannot be a 3. This must, because it has to be greater. This is 7, which forces this to be 4. This is 3. This is 2. That forces this to be 4, which makes that a 3. That means this has to be 2 because it has to be greater than that one. So this can't be 2 here. There's no 3 in these spots. This can't be 2 either. This can't be 2. We see the boss, so we know where the boss is. Okay, so this cannot be 7 or 8 because it's next to a 2 on the German whisper line, and it's wrong. So this is 5 or 6. This must be less than that, so this is less than 6. This is 1, 4, 5. Can't be 7 here. So this is 5 or 6. We have a 5, 6, 5, 6 pair in column 4, which eliminates 5 and 6 in the rest of the row. Column, sorry. So this can't be 5. This can't be 9 anymore. This cannot be 1. It cannot be 2 or 3. This has to be a 1, 4 pair here. Therefore, this is a 2, 3 pair here in column 4. We have 5, 7, 8, 9 in the rest. Let's just do the boss. Yeah, let's do the boss. That is 6CN54Q09SV. I don't know why the links don't work anymore. The links were working fine for me previously, but anyways. Negative zone. Clap, clap, clap. Well done, brave adventurer. Most who enter the Hall of Illusions find only madness. A lithe man in a tuxedo steps out from behind one of the false thermometers. You demand that he lets you pass. I'm sorry. None may enter the temple without my express permission, and you don't have it. Ha! He pulls a lever you hadn't noticed, and suddenly all the clues disappear. A giant image of a skull appears on the large portion of the floor beneath you. You feel weak. What is this sorcery? It's some kind of negative constraint. Uh-oh, we have a negative constraint. That's why it's the negative zone. Okay, here are the rules. Sudoku. Place digits from 1 to 9 into each cell without... Okay, it's a normal Sudoku. Your special abilities have been disabled. Okay. We have anti-crop key. Orthogonally adjacent digits may not be in a 2-to-1 ratio. That is, one being double the other. In addition, orthogonally adjacent digits may not differ by 5 or more if either digit is in a gray cell. So it's anti-Kropke, anti-German whisper. Is that right? May not, yes, anti-Kropke, anti-German whisper. Okay, so this is the skull. Adjacent digits may not be in a 2-to-1 ratio. That is, one being double the other. That's just period. So 2 cannot be any of these cells because it's in 1-to-2 ratio with 1. So 2 must be one of these 3. Therefore, 2 must be one of those 3. 1 cannot be here, and it cannot be either of these. So 1 has to be one of these 3 digits. In addition, orthogonally adjacent digits may not differ by 5 or more if either digit is in a gray cell. So, these 3 digits cannot be different than by 5 or more. It cannot have a 1 here. You cannot have a 4 here. It cannot be 7, 8, or 9. So it has to be 3, 5, and 6? I think that's right. This is also 3, 5, or 6. Hmm. 2 cannot be here because of this 2. 2 can't be any of these cells because of the 1 next to it. These cannot be 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are 5, 6, 7, 8 here. Because both of these digits are in the gray. The rest of this must be 1, 4, 7, 8, 9. And these can't be 1. So 1 has to be one of these 3 digits. Therefore, this cannot be 7, 8, or 9. Because if this were 7, 8, or 9, it would be orthogonally adjacent to a digit that differs by it, but from by more than 5. And all of these are in the gray squares. So this is 1 or 4, and therefore 9 cannot be either of these. If this is 9, that has to be 1 or 4. Right, again, so the logic here is if this is 7, 8, or 9, one of these is 1, and it would be orthogonally adjacent to a cell digit which is 5 or more away. Therefore, neither of these can be 9 for the same reasoning. If this is 9, that has to be 1 or 4 then. Okay, so this can never be 1. If this is 1, one of these is 4, the other is 7 or 8. So this can't be 1. This must be a 4 then, which means none of these can be 4. These can't be 8 because that would be in a 1-2 ratio with 4. Therefore, it's a 1-7 pair. This cannot be 7 then. This cannot be 6 because if it were 6, one of these is a 1 and it would be in a 1-2 ratio. Sorry, it'd be a difference of 5 or greater than here. Same, this can't be 1. If this were 1, this would be greater than a 5 difference between 8 and 9 and 1. So this is 7. This is 1. We have 8 and 9 here. 6 is one of these 2 digits. This cannot be 2 because that would be in a 1-2 ratio with 4. If this were 3, that would be difference of at least 5 from 8 and 9. So this cannot be 3. This is 5. This cannot be 5. This can't be 6 because that's next to a 1. And the anti-German whisper in the gray cells is active. So this is 3. This is 6. This is 5. This must be 2 or 3. Because it cannot be 6 or higher, and it cannot be 1, 4, or 5. These digits are less than 5 away from 3. So it could be 1, 2, no 3, no 4, 5, 6, and 7. But this can't be 1. This can't be 2 or 6. This can't be 6 because it'd be a 1-2 ratio with 3. So this is 2, 5, 7. This is 1, 5, 7. Either of these work. This can't be a low digit. Well, it could be 4 potentially. So this could be 4. Okay, what are the remaining digits in column 6? We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. This can't be 4 because of the 4 in the column. This can't be 3 because of 6. 3 and 6 would be in a 1-2 ratio. So we have, none of these could be 2. This is 3, 4, 5, 7. But 7 cannot be either of these 2 digits because that's, oh wait, it could be here. It can't be here because this is a gray cell and you can't have a difference of at least 5 here, but this could be 7 here. Um... Okay. This cannot be 3. If it were 3, this would have to be 8 and 9. And therefore, there's a difference of at least 5. So if this is 4 or 5. Column 4, what are the remaining digits? Okay, this can't be 2. This is 5 or 7. We have 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These can't be 2, though. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This can't be 2 or 8 because of the 1 to 2 ratio with 4. This can't be 9 because one of them is in the gray cell, and it can't be... can't have a difference of greater than 5. Or 5 or greater. Remaining digits in column... Actually, you do the rows, maybe. That would be better. We have 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9. But this can't be 9 because of that 9. This can't be 1 because one of them's in a gray area, and there's a difference of 5 or more. So this is fine. 8 or 9 could be next to 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's fine. Ah, but if this is 4... Okay. If this is 4 here, and this is 8, this would be in a 1 to 2 ratio, so that would break. If this is 4 and this is 9, there's a difference of at least 5, so this can't be 4 ever. So this is 5, which means 5 cannot be any of these. 5 can't be here, 5 can't be here. Similarly, this can't be 4 for the same reasoning. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9. This can't be 4. It cannot be 1, 2, or 3 because that's 5 or more away from 8 or 9. So this has to be 5, 6, 8, or 9 here. This must be next to 2 or 3, so it cannot be 8 or 9. So it's 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Because a 2 or 3 here is in a gray cell. This must... Okay, so the remaining digits in column 5 are 1, 3... 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. Well, this can't be 1 here. This is 3, 4, 6, 8, 9 here. This is 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. But it cannot be 9, and it cannot be 3 or 6. If this is 3 or 6, this is in a 1 to 2 ratio with a 3 or 6 there. So this cannot be 3 or 6 here. So this is 1, 4, or 8. This is 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. So that works for that one. This 4 must be next to a digit that's less, so 9 cannot be either of these cells, because then that would be 5 away from 4. 2 and 8 cannot be either, so this is 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, no 8. Okay. One of these digits has to be at least 6 or higher, so this can never be 1. So you could have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here. 1 has to be one of these digits. Two cannot be here. 2 is one of these two. 2 cannot be here. 8 cannot be here. This cannot be 9. None of these can be 9. This can't be 9 because of the 8-9 pair. These two would be 5 or more away from there. Where's the 9 in row 3? It has to be here. So this is a 9 here. This cannot be 9. One of those two is a 9. This can't be in a 1 to 2 ratio with anything, but that's a 9, so it doesn't matter. One of these two is a 9, but they're not next to any gray cells, so there's no restraint with that. This cannot be 1. If this were 1, it would be in a 1 to 2 ratio with 2, and therefore couldn't be there. If it's 7, that's a difference of more than 5 or more away from 7. So this can't be 1. It cannot be 2 or 7 either, because 2 and 7 are both 5 or more away from each other. So it can't be 1, 2, or 7, or it can't be 4 or 9. So this is 3, 5, 6, or 8 here. Okay. Hmm. 5 have any digit next to it, even if it's in a gray cell. 9 can have any digit next to it as long as the other cell's not gray. Hmm. This can be 1, no 2, because that's 1 to 2 ratio. 3, 5, 6, no 8, no 7, no 8, no 9. So this is 1, 3, 5, 6 here. 9 cannot be here, whereas the 9 in column 3, it must be here. So the 9 in... And this is because 9 cannot be next to low numbers in the gray areas. So 9 has to be one of these two. Hmm. Okay. We don't have a constraint on this cell here. Well, I guess just relative to here. That's it. Hmm. This digit cannot be 1, but it could be a lot of things. Because if it's 1, it would necessarily be 5 or more away from 6 or 7. So, hmm. Hmm. Yeah, this is looking like it's going to be the second to last video, at least. Uh, huh. If this is 1, this has to be 3, because it cannot be 6, because that's a difference of at least 5. So we know this would be 247 here. If this is 4, this can't be 3, so this would be 237 here. If this is 8, this could not be 3, it would have to be 6. But any of these, this would have to be 1. So again, if this is 1, hmm. Ah, That's a problem. Okay, so if this is 1, this cannot be 6. This would have to be 3. Therefore, this would be 2, 4, 7. That would force this to be 5. And then the 1 would be next to a non something. Oh, wait, no, that's possible because none of those are gray. Okay, so that's fine. Ugh. So if this is 1, that forces this to be 3. So this can never be 3, right? Because either this is 1 or this is 1. If this is 1, obviously this can't be 1, and this would be 3. Actually, if this is 1, this is forced to be 3. This forces this to be 2, 4, and 7. So this can't be 3 or 4. So this would have to be, oops, 6, 8, or 9 here. This would be 5 in that case. 1, 3, 2, 4, 7. One can only be next to 3 here because the difference of with one of them being in the gray has to be 5 or less than 5. Cannot be 5 or more. So you'd have 1, 3, 2, 4, 7. This would be 5. So this would be 6, 8, 6, 8, 9, 6, 8, 9. That's fine. If this is 4, this is 1. That's interesting. If this is 4, this becomes 2, 3, 7, which makes that a 6, which makes that 5. Either way, the 2 could not be here, but this could be 8 here, which would force us to be 6. I don't think this can ever be 2 here. If this is 1, obviously it can't be 2. If this is 4, it can't be 2. If this is 8, the problem is, where is the 4 in this box? It has to be one of these two cells. And if the 2 is here, either of these cells, then it would be with 4. But that's not allowed because it'd be a 1 to 2 ratio. So this specific cell can never be 2. This could still be 2 if this is 1 or 4. It can't be if it's 4, because then that would be 1. But if this is 1... Oh, wait, no. If this is 1, this becomes 3. This is a 2, 4, 7 triplet, but you cannot have 2 and 4 be next to each other. Therefore, the 4 would have to be here, and this would be 2. Because 4 were here, that would be next to both 2's, and that's not allowed. So 4 cannot be here either. So if we try to have 2 here, that makes this 7, 5. This is then 3, and this is 6. But this can't be 1, so this would be 1, and that would be in a 1 to 2 ratio, which is not allowed. So this can never be 2. This has to be a 2 then. This is 2. This cannot be 8 because that's a difference of 5 or more away from 2. 4 is one of these cells. So if this is an 8, it would be next to one of the 4s, and that would be in a 1 to 2 ratio. So this cannot be 8, therefore 8 is one of these 2 digits, which means this cannot be 8 here. So 8 has to be one of these 3 cells. It cannot be 4 here. If this were 3, well, you could have 3, 8 here. That's fine. So 8. Wait. No, that's... Oops, I messed up. That's not... 8 could still be here. Yeah. This can never be 7 because that's 5 or more away from 2. So this must be 3. That 3 makes this a 6, which means this cannot be 1. This is 4, 8. Therefore, this must be a 1 here because that's the only place for it. That means this is a 9 because that's the only place for that. There cannot be a 6 anymore in the rest of column 5. This can't be 6. This can't be 6. One of these is an 8, which means we... Actually, we already knew that earlier. But so none of these can be 8 here. Because in row... Sorry, in row 3, the 8 has to be one of these two cells, so it cannot be any of these. This cannot be 3. One of these is a 4. This can't be 6. This can no longer be 3. If this were 8, that would force this to be 4, which would mean this is a 1 to 2 ratio. So this cannot be 8. We have a 5-7 pair, which eliminates 5 and 7 in the rest of the column. Also, this can't be 9. This can't be 7. This has to be a 6 because it can't be 7, which means neither of these can be 6. This is 2 and 8. 4 cannot be next to any of them. This is a 3, 4. This 5-7 pair eliminates 5 and 7 in the rest of the box. So this is 4, this is 8. This can't be 4, so this is 7. 4 cannot be next to 2 or 8, so neither of these are 4. Therefore, this must be a 4 here. This cannot be 9 because 9 would be next to 4 with a gray cell, and that's 5 or more away. So this is 3, this is 9. These are fine for either one. This cannot be 4 here. Where's the 4 in row 2? Can't be here, can't be here, can't be this one because that's 5 or more away with 1 being in the gray cell, so this is a 4. This can't be 4 then. This is 3 or 5, that's fine. This is 5 or 7, that's fine. This can't be 3 because of that 3. One cannot be here or here in box 3. So it must be here. So this is a 1-8 pair, which eliminates 1 and 8 in the rest of the row. So this can't be 1. This is 3, 5, 7. 1 has to be one of these cells. Therefore, 2 cannot be here. Where is the 2 in row 2? Can't be here because it would be next to a 1, and that's a 1 to 2 ratio. So it must be here, which means this can't be 1, which means this is a 1 here. Therefore, this can't be 1. This is 5, 6, or 7. 2 is either then here or here, but 2 cannot be here because that's a 1 to 2 ratio with 4. Therefore, this must be a 2. 7 cannot be next to a 2 in the gray cell if one of them is gray. So we have a 5, 6 pair here, which eliminates 5 and 6 in the rest of the box. This can't be 5. This must be 3. This can't be 3. This must then be a 7. So the remaining digits here are 3, 5, 6, and 8. And those are the only possibilities. 8 cannot be here because that's greater than 5 difference from 2. 8 is one of these two. Therefore, if this were 3 in either of these spaces, it would be next to an 8, and there would be a difference of at least 5. So 3 cannot be here. Whereas the 3 must be here. This can't be 8. That's 3 in the corner. We celebrate because we're close to cracking this. This can't be 8 because it's difference of 5 at least from the gray area. So this can't be 8. This is an 8. We have a 5, 6, 7 triplet in column 2, which eliminates 5, 6, and 7 from the rest of the column. Therefore, this can't be 5, 7. This can't be 6, 7. This can't be 1 anymore because of this 1. 8 is here. None of these can be 7. So we need 1 and 2 here. 1 and 2 cannot be next to each other, so 1 and 2 have to both be on the outside. That leaves this. Okay, so since this is 1 or 2, this can never be 8 or 9, because those are 5 or more away from 1 and 2. This can't be 8, because that's more than 5 away from 3, so this is 1, this is 8. This can't be 8, and this can't be 1 here. This digit is 5, 6, 8, or 9. We don't know which. What else do we have? Okay, the rest of these are 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This can't be 4, 5, or 6. This can't be 9 here. These can't be 8. And these can't be 3. This can't be 9. So 9's either here or one of these two. 8 is one of these 4. Remaining digits here are 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, but 9 obviously can't be here. This can't be 2 or 3. This can't be 3 because of the 6, and that would be a 1 to 2 ratio there. This can't be 1 or 8 because of the 1 or 8 here. This seems fine. 8 is one of these 4 cells. If there's a 4 here, it would be next to one of the 8s. So this can never be 4. So 4 has to be one of these 3 cells. This cannot be 5 or more away from 1 or 2. So it cannot be 7 or 8 here. This is 3, 4, 5, or 6. 2 has to be one of these 2 digits, because it cannot be here. So one of these is 5 or 6, or both. We don't know. 1 has to be one of these 2 cells here. Uh, 7 cannot be here. This can't be 9 either. This cannot be 7 because of the 5, 6, 7 triplet here. Okay, remaining digits in column 2 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. But this can't be 4 because of that 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. This can't be 1 or 3. This can't be 9. This can't be 9 because one of these 3 must be a 9. Whoops. I don't know. I eliminated 8 accidentally. This is 9. Remaining digits in row 9 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. But this cannot be 2, 3. This can't be 1 or 4. Hmm. Um... Okay, if this were 4, where is a 2 in box 4? Cannot be here because that's a 1 to 2 ratio. Can't be here because that's a 1 to 2 ratio with 4. Can't be here. So this can never be 4. Therefore, we have a 2, 3, 2, 3 pair in row 5, which eliminates 2 and 3 in the rest of the row and the rest of the box. So this can't be 2 or 3. This can't be 2 or 3. This can't be 2 or 3. Where is the 2 in box 6? It must be here. Where's the 3 in box 6? It must be, can't be here, can't be here, it must be here. So this is 3, which forces this to be a 1. This 2 is next to a digit that is less than 5 away from it. This 5, 6 pair eliminates 5 and 6 from the rest of the row. So this must be a 1, 8, 9. And this can't be 9 because of this 9 here. We have 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9 remaining. This cannot be 9, though. In row 5. This is 2, so this cannot be 4. This can't be 8 because of this 8. The 4 is one of these two cells. So if this were 8, that would be in a 1 to 2 ratio with 4. So this cannot be 8. This can't be 6 because it'd be in 1 to 2 ratio with a 3. This can no longer be 3. This can't be 3, so one of these is a 3. If this were a 6, that would be in a 1 to 2 ratio with a 3 in one of the spaces, so this can't be 6. This is 4, that's fine. This can't be 8 because of the 8 here. This cannot be 1, 2, 3, or 9, so this is 4 through 8. If this were 8, that forces this to be 2, which would force this to be 4, and then this would be a 1 to 2 ratio. So this can never be 8 here. One of these 3 digits is a 4. We're not sure which. So 8 could be here as long as that's 4. These cannot be 1. Hmm. 9 has to be one of these two cells. That doesn't tell us very much. Hmm. Oh. 3 cannot be in a 1-to-2 ratio cannot be consecutive with 6 because that's a 1-to-2 ratio. So that's 5, which makes that 6, which makes that 5. This 5 eliminates that 5, so that's 7, which makes that 5, which makes that 7. Therefore, that's a 6. This 5 eliminates 5 from being here. 6 can no longer be here. One of these two digits is a 6. We don't know which. And one of these... Okay, so this can never be 6 then. Right? 6 can never be here because that would be next to a 3. 6 can't be here because it would be next to a 3. So one of these is a 6, which means this cannot be 6. This cannot be 6, so one of these two is a 6 here. Mm. Hmm. 2 and 8 still both work. They're 5. They're not in a 1-to-2 ratio with 6. We only have this digit remaining, so it cannot be 1. 3 can be 2. No 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 9. So that seems fine. Hmm. Ah, if this is 8, they would be next to a 4 in one of these two cells. So this can never be 8. That would be in a 1 to 2 ratio. Hmm. Hmm. Ah, if this were 2, this would have to be 1. So this would be 5. This would be 6, and that would make that a 3. But that's in a 1 to 2 ratio. So this can never be 2. This is either 7 or 9 here. We have a 7, 9, 7, 9 pair in row 7, which eliminates 7, 9 in the rest of the row. This can't be 7. This can't be 7. We now have a 1, 8, 1, 8 pair in column 1, which eliminates 1 and 8 from the rest of the column. This can't be 8. This can't be 1 or 8. Um, hmm. Um, let's see. If this is 1, That would mean this could not be 7 or 6. So where would the 7 be in column 1? It'd have to be here, which would force this to be 5, this would be 6, and this would be 2. If this is 8, okay, so how would that work? So if this is 1, again, this can't be 7 anymore, so there's no 7 in column 1 here. So it has to be here, which makes that 5, which makes that 6. This would be 2, this would be 3. Therefore, this could never be 3 if that were the case. And if this is 8, this is 3, which means this could never be 3 in that case. Right? So again, if this is 1, this has to be 5 or more away from 5, less than 5 or more away from 1. So this is 4, 5. 7 can't be here. 7 has to be here, which makes that a 5. Therefore, this is 6. This can't be in a 1 to 2 ratio with a 3 and a 6, so this must be 2, which makes that 3. That eliminates 3 here. If this is 8, that makes that 3, which eliminates 3 here. So 3 can never be here. Therefore, where's the 3 in row 7? It has to be here. So this can't be 3 here. 8 must be one of these 2 digits. So this cannot be 8. This is 2. This is 8. 8 cannot be 2. It cannot be 2 or 8 here. So this must be 4. This can't be 2, and it can't be 4 anymore here. This can't be 4. 4 cannot be next to 2 or 8 orthogonally. So this must be 1, which makes that 8, which makes that 1. This can no longer be 1. We have an 8, 9, 8, 9 pair here. Therefore, that eliminates 8 and 9 in the rest of the column. This is 2 or 3, but it can't be next to a 4. So this is 3, which makes that 2, which makes that 3. This can no longer be 6 because that's the 1 to 2 ratio. So this is 5. This is 7. This 5 eliminates that 5. So this is 6. This can't be 6 here. This can't be 5 or 7. So this must be a 4, which means this can't be 4. This can't be 8 because it can't be in a 1 to 2 ratio here. So this is 9, which makes that 8. This 7 eliminates that 7. So this is 6, which makes that a 5, which makes that a 7, which makes that a 9. Therefore, this is 7. This can't be 7 here, or here, or here. This 8 eliminates that 8. So this is 9, which makes that 8, which makes that 9, which makes that 7, which makes that a 4. This can't be 4 or 7. This can't be 9. This can't be 9. Where is the 9? This can't be 9 either. Or 7 or 5. This is 6, which makes this a 2, which makes this 1. This has to be 2. This can no longer be 5 because of that 5 in the row. So this is 4. 4 and 8 cannot be consecutive because that's a 1 to 2 ratio. This is 6, this is 9, this has to be 5, 8, this is 5, and this is 8. With the last of your strength, you pull the lever back and disengage the negative constraint field, gasping with relief. Good thing that guy left after delivering his monologue, or he could have easily stopped you. You follow after him, knowing that the next trap you walk into could be your last, but sensing that the end of your journey is approaching. Enter 7 into this puzzle's boss cell in Sudokuvania. So we enter in 7. Okay. We have to enter in 7 in the boss cell. Okay. So this is a 7, which means this can no longer be 7. This can no longer be 6 because, again, it sees 3 digits. So it must see this one, it must see this one, it must see this one. Therefore, the 7 in box 1 must be one of these 2 cells. We have a 2 in one of these 2 cells because there's no 2 remaining in their column 3. We have 5, 6, 8, and 9 here. But this cannot be 5 here. This becomes 6, 7, 8, 9. But this cannot be 6, and this cannot be 9. This can't be 6. We have 5, 8, and 9 remaining here, but this can't be 9. 3 cannot be next to 5, because this arrow is the same, and therefore it would be the same. That's not allowed. It can't be next to 6 because this is a 1 to 2 ratio. It can't be 7. Sorry, it can't be 8, because if this were 8, that would be a difference of at least 5 on this wrong German whisper line. Therefore, this must be 7, which means this cannot be 7. This can't be 7. It must be less than that. So it sees 7. It must see 8 before it sees the 9. So this is 8. Because there's no other place for it in the column. Cannot be here, cannot be here. This digit must be less than this digit, because it sees 7, it will see 8, it will see 9, and it sees only 4. So this must be 2, which makes this a 5. Therefore, this is a 6-9 pair here. This can no longer be 5 here. This can't be 7. This can't be 7 or 5. This can't be 5 or 7. This is 1 or 3. The 6-9 pair eliminates 6 and 9 from the rest of the box. This can't be 6. This can't be 8. So one of these is 2. This can't be 2 or 7 because of the 2, 7 here. So this is 5, which makes this a 9, which makes that 5. Therefore, that makes this 8. This 5 eliminates that 5. So this is 6, this is 7, this is 2. This cannot be 9. Where is the 9 in row 7? It has to be here. So this is 9. This is less than 6 or 8 here. So it's 1, 3, 6. And this could be 1, 3, 6, or 8. But this can't be 6 here. So one of these two digits is a 6. The remaining digits in column 9 are 1, 3, and 7. This can't be 1 or 7 here, so this must be a 3, which makes this a 1. Neither of these can be 1 here. We have a 3, 6, 8 triplet here. This can't be 1 or 3. This is 7, which makes that a 1. Therefore, this is a 4. This 3 eliminates that 3, so this is a 2, which makes that a 3. This 2 eliminates that 2, so this is 8 and 2. This can no longer be 7, whereas a 7 in box 1, it has to be... Oh, we already had that. This is 7, 6, 8, 9, 6, 8, 9. None of these can be 6 because of the 6 in the box. We have an 8, 9, 8, 9 pair. This can't be 8 because of that 8, so this is a 9. This is an 8. This is a 5 then. That makes this an 8, which makes that a 9. This can't be 8 or 9, so this is 7, which makes that a 6, which makes that a 3. Therefore, this must be 8, this must be 6. This 9 eliminates that 9, so this is 6 and 9. This 6 eliminates that 6, so this is 5. This must be less than that to see 3 skyscrapers, so this is 4, this is 6. This 4 eliminates that 4, so this is 3, this is 4. This cannot be 1 or 2, so this must be 5, which makes that a 1, and therefore that's a 2. This 6 eliminates that 6, so that's a 5. This has to be an 8. This cannot be 1 because of that 1, so this is 4, this is 1. That leaves this as a 7 and this as a 3. And we've solved grid, the Hall of Illusions, grid 8, I believe it is. Right? Grid 8. We've killed the boss too. Okay, can we fill in the digits for this one? We have a 1 and a 4. Okay, so this is 1, which makes this an 8, which makes this a 1. This 8 makes this a 4, which makes that an 8. And now we've filled out that grid. Okay, and we've solved the Hall of Illusions. And we will save the last bit for hopefully the last video. It should be the last video because these seem to take, each of these grids with the bosses seem to take at least 2 hours. And so, yeah, we've done that part. And I will see you in the next and hopefully last installment of Sudokuvania, Digits of Despair. See you soon. Take care.